What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Live from an undisclosed location all across the country because everybody's off today somehow. Every single person is in a different state except for yours truly. Which is
how could that be?
Seat here. How could it be?
How could you not?
Last week.
I know, but if we're all in a different state, then that just means from each other. It's a relative term.
That is true. So technically, we're
all in a different state from one another.
I love Tiff is just going to keep hitting the air horns. Like, no matter, just keep going all show long. More air horns.
I'm not going to lie. I didn't realize it just kept going. I hit it once and it was like on loop. That's my bad.
At a certain point, doesn't that become like an alarm for danger? Like, should we know
Yeah,
this?
That's true. Actually, this does bring me, before we get into all of our topics, you know what I heard maybe for the first time ever, or maybe I just never noticed? Foghorn on like a big old tanker. Have you guys heard this?
Yeah.
That's
it's very loud.
I mean, I think
that's
I've
an
heard
incredible
one before,
sound.
Yeah.
It sounds good, and it's so loud it like shakes you.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about that in a while, but yeah.
To find
I could see that.
I don't know why that's not more interesting to you. I thought that was so fascinating when I saw it.
Tiff, you need to find a foghorn that we replace our air horn with. So I think we all here would
desperately
be more
need
nautical. Yeah, we'd prefer to be more nautical. Thank you.
We are deep in the offseason, of course. This is the dog days, but we do have some stuff. ESPN wrote an article where they said the number one concern for your Denver Nuggets, they outlined it, and it's defense. They don't think it's going to be any better than it was last year, and it made me think, should we think it's going to be better? Are they right that the Nuggets are just going to suck on defense this year, but their offense will be better? We're also going to talk about, we did this last year. We're 1 year more into it, so the picture becomes more clear. Can the Nuggets still be the team of the 20s? Did they lose ground? Are they now third? I think last year we said they were second. The Celtics were number one. Are they now third behind Oklahoma City? And then, of course, Jokic, the player of the decade. And then later on, the 2018 season, we're going to talk about that. D-Line is joining us from Phoenix, Arizona.
I thought it was supposed to be an undisclosed location. Yes, I'm in Phoenix. I've been here long enough now that I've established a morning routine and then also changed it. I had an initial morning routine that
that is the most D-line thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, Harrison, you should appreciate this. My initial routine was that I would wake up and walk to the Starbucks, of course.
Great choice. Great choice.
Get a Starbucks, get a loaf, get whatever it is would fill my fancy. And then I realized there's a donut shop closer, and then so now I go to the donut shop.
Eric, you're kind of like the guy. Have you ever seen the movie Perfect Days? You're kind of like this guy. His no alarm, no phone or anything. He just feels the rhythm of his environment. But it's an ever-changing environment. It's sort of a tragedy. We've also got Harrison Wind on the show.
I'm out of town as well, visiting some family, but had to say goodbye to him for like an hour earlier. Then I started poring over some Kessler Edwards film. There you go. Just really diving deep into the Kessler Edwards whole kind of just everything he's ever done.
You're gonna have to get to the bottom of that.
The discography. That's the word I was looking for. The discography.
Well, before you give me the discography, is this in-laws or family? Like which one side is it?
In-laws.
See, we rescued you. Don't say you had to. We rescued you an hour. Is what happened.
Well, Kessler Edwards originally rescued me.
Of course.
Now you guys are rescuing me again.
Well, we do have some news here, and we're going to talk about the schedule because I actually like talking about the schedule. I'm the one sicko on earth that actually gets into this. But first, there is some news. The Nuggets signed to an Exhibit 10, Kessler Edwards, and I'm glad one of us did some research on him. Wind, what do you have for us?
He's a defender. I mean, I would go as far to say, potential lockdown type of guy. 6'7", 25 years old. He's been on a couple teams, spent some time with the Mavs last season. He's been on the Nets, the Kings. Low minute guy, not a guy who has a ton of upside, I don't think, but he's more your Spencer Jones type, your plug and play type guy.
Plug and play.
He's a defender. I don't think he's got much of an offensive game, although he did shoot it pretty well from 3 last year. I think near 40%, but defense and kind of rebounding, that's his game.
He's got good measurables, like 6'8". That's 6'8", 215, like skinny, long-bodied guy. It reminds you of your Robersons and some of those types who, they're just known for being great defenders. But the question is, can they do the other side of the floor?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like it feels like the most overlooked skill set is the lockdown. The guy that's like an extreme defender that has like limited offensive capabilities. It seems like you can find these guys all the time, and they always make a difference if you get the right guy. But teams don't generally like, everyone is just so enamored with the offensive side of the ball that they only sign players that fill that side. So that's cool. I hope this guy actually is able to. Obviously, he's not. Just to be clear for myself and for anybody else, like, he is not occupying the last roster spot that the Nuggets have. This is strictly a deal to come and participate in training camp and then kind of see how it goes.
Probably.
The likeliest path would be that he would join the Grand Rapids Gold. He would be on the Grand Rapids Gold roster. So you're kind of come in, you're in the system. And then from there, Denver's out of there 2 ways. So, they would have.
I don't even think he's eligible for a 2-way. He's been in the league for more than 3 years, I think. So.
Oh, really? So there you go. They do have the open spot. So maybe it is a thing where, if you're him, you come to Denver, maybe you do a deal with the Gold, you really stand out there, and you take on that 15th roster spot at the deadline. So it's an avenue for you back into the league potentially.
So that was my read on it, because Kessler Edwards, I know Mavs fans kind of liked him last year. He played 40 games for them. He started 18 games. He's a guy who I thought would get an actual end of the bench roster spot with the team, but I wonder if he looks around at the situations and is like, Nuggets have an open roster spot. If I play well, in training camp and preseason, maybe I get it, or maybe I get it down the line.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good bet for him. Looking at Denver, they have that spot. They need a defensive player, as we're going to be talking about in the next round. So maybe he just sees that as, okay, the team needs what I provide. Let me go there and see if I can't stand out. You'll be in training camp. You'll be around. You'll probably play at least alongside, if not with Jokic, at least in the same gym. And maybe it's like, hey, this guy kind of works, or something. So, a good bet by him for him to try to get back into the league. The other piece of news here is that we have now 3 total games on the Nuggets schedule. The NBA is doing this new thing.
Damn.
I'm telling you, here's real quick as a preface. We don't know what we lost when we lost Woj. Because what we lost was any competition. We need this kid, this new high school kid, Ari. Have you guys seen this guy? Ari Reports?
Of course.
You guys seen the kid?
We've seen him.
He's a high school kid, I'm told, from people in the front office at different ages. I've actually talked to people on all sides of this. He's just a high school kid calling everyone nonstop. Like, five numbers and just calls and just constantly is like, tell me this, tell me that. He wants to be the new Shams.
Well, not long ago, somebody named Shams did exactly that.
So, industrious little kid, man, doing the work here. But a high school kid, I'm told.
Why are people in the NBA like? What is it about them?
Why would anybody tell a kid this? So
why are they telling their business to a high school student? Like, are they just?
I know at least one of his sources, and I will tell you it's because, and he was told to me, he respected the hustle. He's like, the kid won't quit, and it's like, all right, what have you? So, which is kind of an interesting, whatever. But to your point, the broader point, though, why would anybody tell this? Here's the thing people don't know, and tell me if you agree with this, Harrison. The NBA world, it's like you have all of these secrets and all of this knowledge, and you can't tell anyone. And it's a very lonely life. Like, if you think about David Adelman, he can't talk hoops with anyone, except for like a handful of people who he sees all day.
Except for a 15-year-old.
Well, I'm not saying David Adelman is talking to Ari Reports here. That's not the source. But I'm just saying, in my experience, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of knowledge and not a lot of people that can talk to. Like, it's like Einstein couldn't talk math with a lot of people. You know what I mean? He couldn't talk physics. So,
so they just go, oh, look at this guy who works in kind of the same field as me. I'm just gonna lob everything at him.
Well,
but you are right. You are right. I know me and Adam have been in this situation where we're people who executives, coach, like they'll call you just to bounce ideas off of and just to talk shop because, right, they can't just do it with everybody.
I'll say this. I'll say this: people of the NBA with burning secrets and things that I don't want to find out you killed somebody. Like, I don't want secrets to be that deep. But like, if you have a secret about your job in the NBA, my DMs are open. Just let me know. I'm a 47-year-old man. I'll know what to do with it better than a 15-year-old kid. Like, what's going on here?
I'm telling you, the high school kid getting this stuff, though, because there's this other part of it, which is the hustle to be able to break a story or two. And he's actually broken quite a few or shared a couple little small of these stories or whatever that he's got. But then what you do with that is the tough part. So he has a tough road ahead of him, and figure that out. But industrious kid, hat tip to him. But I say that to say there's no Woj. And so now the NBA is just going to do what Shams is like 1 or 2 games a day all week long. But we got 3 games from the Nuggets. We got the Christmas game, which we talked about yesterday. The Timberwolves.
3 of 82?
3 of 82.
Yeah, tomorrow we're getting the 4th game, actually.
The Nuggets, we now know.
How many days is it? Like, how many days is it between now and the season? Are we going to get one every day?
I believe now, though, Thursday, October 22nd, should be the Nuggets' first game in Golden State. And here's the thing. So they open the season on the road at Golden State on night 3. So the opening night Tuesday, almost everybody plays Wednesday. We're going to have to wait till the 3rd night, I believe, to be able to see the Nuggets.
Have you seen confirmation that that's actually opening night?
I think typically Tuesday is, and we know that Tuesday is that first game. So then there's a Wednesday game. And then if they would put the reason I think it will be is I don't think they would give the Nuggets a back-to-back when they're, because it's also on NBC, which is the big thing this year. It's on Peacock. So the Nuggets are going to get one of the first games to be on the new NBC, and it'll be Nuggets Warriors.
Make sure you download and subscribe to Peacock.
God damn it.
Is the only way you'll be able to watch it.
But I'm excited. I think that's a great game. Nuggets were here because here's why. The Warriors are the most fun team of the last 10 years. They're just, look, we love our Nuggets, but the Warriors are the fun team.
I cannot wait to see the Jonathan Kuminga circus come to town, dude.
Here's why I like this matchup. It's because the NBA and NBC in particular, I'm sure they're the ones that picked this. It was like, hey, we need a big splash for our big Thursday night debut. What's the most fun game we could think of? And it was Nuggets Warriors. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah, and Nuggets Warriors is so fun, man. Steph, Jokic, just maybe the top 2 most exciting and most fun players to watch, at least for me personally. And I got to think for a lot of people out there, you've just got
keep going on the matchups.
With Jimmy Butler, Aaron Gordon, pretty good matchup. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. Pods and Cam Johnson.
Steve Kerr, David Adelman, 2 X's and O's guys.
There you go.
Should I keep going? Joe Lacob and Stan Kroenke, 2 of the richest owners in the NBA.
There you go. Right.
But no, I'm excited. The Warriors, a lot of people forget this now. The Warriors last year, once they got Jimmy Butler, were one of the best teams in the NBA.
Agreed. Yep.
They got Jimmy Butler, and they went into this new gear. I'm higher on the Warriors than I think a lot of people are. I think they're going to be really good. And then Steph just got hurt in the playoffs, and they were just kind of, bleh again. But I think the Warriors are going to be good, and it's a great test for the Nuggets opening night, honestly. That's how I look at it. That was the first thing I thought of. Oh, it's going to be a great measuring stick game.
Yeah. Big time measuring stick game. Nice style fights as well. You got Al Horford there. I think it'll be a great one. Denver probably will be an underdog for that game, so they'll start on the road probably as underdogs. And then the NBC part of this is what I just love, Eric. I just love that the Nuggets, as Michael Jordan's probably in the building that day. He's a special analyst, or what do they call him? Special contributor. So we might get Michael Jordan talking about Steph Curry and Nikola Jokic opening night.
No way he's in the building. Man. No way. No way.
What if he spends the entire game just hating on Jokic too? Like, what if we end up hating Michael Jordan? By the end, we're all LeBron guys. He's like, I hate this Serbian. You can't jump over a phone book. All the cliches.
He's like, if you really need a bucket, who are you giving it to? Jimmy or Nikola? Jimmy.
Give me Andre Iguodala. Yeah, by the end, we're like, Michael Jordan's a fool.
There's one other game we're going to talk about that's on the Nuggets schedule, and we'll get to that on the other side.
All right. Shout out to our friends over at Cake Mortgage. That music sounds loud. Cake Mortgage, guys. Shout out to them. Are you a Denver property investor? Do you own an investment property? Are you thinking about buying one? Well, that's where Cake Mortgage comes in. If you don't have that traditional tax return or that traditional W-2, don't worry about it. Cake Mortgage, they specialize in working with people like you, entrepreneurs that are in your boat. They'll get you funding. All you need is a lease agreement, and then you can just use market rent, piece of cake with Cake Mortgage. Even if the property's vacant, even if you just purchased it, Cake Mortgage can help. Maybe you're a first-time home buyer as well, first-time investor. Maybe property's rent doesn't cover the mortgage payment. Cake Mortgage, they can still get the deal done. They specialize in loans for investors just like you. You can call 800-EAT-CAKE. That's 800-EAT-CAKE to get a bigger slice of the American dream. Call now or visit cakehome.com to read our 5-star review and to get started. Cake Mortgage Corp, equal housing lender, NMLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. Also, shout out to Red Hawk Roofing, Denver's best roofers. They're on DNVR's team. Go with the pros at Red Hawk Roofing. Get your roof checked once a year. Once a year, it's preventative medicine for the home that you pour your life into. So make sure you're covered. They'll, use quality materials. They've got decades of experience. The quickest response time. They will give you a free, no obligation roof and property inspection as well. Can't always see how bad the damage to your roof is from the ground, so let Red Hawk Roofing get up there and see what they're working with. Support these guys like you support us at DNVR if you're looking for a new roof for your home or business. RedHawkRoofing.com, 720-771-8921.
Alrighty, we are back here. Segment 2 of the DNVR Nuggets podcast. So one other game, we're talking games. One other game that the Nuggets know about will be the following Monday, October 27th, at Minnesota. So 2 of Denver's early games will be against Golden State on the road and at Minnesota on the road. Now, what's interesting about this, Eric, and when Thursday, we don't know if they play Monday or Wednesday. I would guess, we know they don't play Monday or Tuesday. I doubt they play Wednesday. They play Thursday and they play Monday. So either they play on Saturday. I guess that would mean they would almost certainly play Saturday as well. So they'll probably have a Thursday, Saturday, Monday schedule.
I love
That's good.
forensically
That's a good
putting
thing.
the schedule together. Yeah, this is great.
But it might mean
Thursday, Saturday, Monday, then probably Wednesday.
Well, hold on. You guys
Should we
are
take
laughing.
bets?
You guys
Let's
are
take
laughing,
bets.
but let's put this together. Hold on. I am guessing the season opener, the home opener, will be Saturday. That's my point. So my guess is Saturday night, the Nuggets will be back home. You'll go from the Bay to Denver to Minnesota. That's kind of a line. That's kind of linear. My guess is, if you want, plan on Saturday being the night for opening night.
I'm with
That's
it. You're right.
linear.
I love it, dude. Listen, if they're not going to give us what we need, we're going to make it happen for ourselves. I feel like they're going to listen to this and make opening night Saturday based on the logic you just played out. Like,
Who would you guys want to play opening night? Who would you hope the opponent is opening night? We can only play the Timberwolves 4 times. We already know 2 of those games.
It's gonna be the freaking Thunder. It's gonna be the freaking Thunder.
No, I hope it's an easy one because that's 2 tough games, man. Minnesota, Golden State. I hope they get like Utah at home
with fat Nurk. You can't run.
If you think back to last year, they had OKC and the Clippers like the first 2 games. And the Nuggets lost both of them, and that was such a bad vibe to begin the season.
Yeah,
sucked.
I kind of want I want like a middle tier Western Conference team.
Dallas?
Memphis?
Yeah, Dallas would be fun. Yeah,
Memphis is low. Maybe they're
Memphis would be fun.
Phoenix?
Yeah.
Oh, Phoenix could be good. We'll beat
Phoenix
the heck out
would
of
be
Phoenix.
cool. Yeah, I actually kind of want Phoenix. Actually.
So there we
I'll
have
ask everyone around here if they're cool with it. I'll get it on the books.
They're down bad, man. They don't want any part of that. So we have 3 games. 2 of them are against the Timberwolves and 1 of them against the Warriors. And we'll get to see NBC's coverage, their debut coverage on Thursday night, which will be great. Also in the news, I don't know if you guys saw this. Jusuf Nurkic, out of shape, can barely run, according to his Bosnian national coach. Came out and just lambasted him in the public, according to Basket News. Did you see this, Wind?
I did, man. This is just like par for the course when it comes to European hoops. These coaches don't care, man. They'll call you out. Like, they'll make you pass every conditioning test out there.
So true.
In order to play. And I kind of love it, man. Like, you got to think this Bosnian coach has been waiting for this tournament for the last 2 years, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like, everybody's getting to camp. It's like, oh, got all my guys here. Nurk's coming. And then he gets there and he's out of shape. Like, you'd be pissed. Yeah. I'd be pissed too.
Eric, I know you have to have a take on this. He's so out of shape.
Oh, of course.
Are you going to hate on him? Because I'm actually going to soften. You know how it is. I always hate a guy until they're down, and then I feel bad.
What's the point of hating him to get him down and then let him up? The whole point is to get him down in the first place. That's where they're more vulnerable. All right, so here's my thought is that I am with Win. It is hilarious how the European coaches, like these little guys in suits, Pesic, that Italian coach, they really do like view themselves as the center of the universe, and they don't care.
It's kind of like college basketball. It's kind of like college. Yeah. The coach is the star in Europe. For
sure. And it's hilarious. They're just like, this guy's a bum. Like, like it would just never happen in the NBA. It's probably overstated. It's great nonetheless. Like, they have no problem. Europe in general, no problem with calling you fat. No problem with saying you're out of shape. Like, to themselves, to others. So it's nice to see it permeate their sporting culture as well. I think it's great. And I hope that he is fat and can't run, because that's even better.
It is kind of funny. Man, if you think about his arc, Dame leaves, traded to Phoenix, then everybody likes him for a second, then hates him. Like, he's really he flew too close to the sun and has crashed for like 5 straight years. And now even
cautionary
like,
tale.
Get out of here, man. Yeah, cautionary tale.
It's called absolutely. Like, I'm not going to feel bad for him. This is every single thing that you've described in his descent was orchestrated by him. So do I feel bad? Do I feel bad? I feel bad. He's an idiot. For him, but for me, it's hilarious.
ESPN has a new article out today, and it is multiple contributors, meaning everybody, all of their NBA writers kind of wrote one segment of it. The Denver segment was written by our Tim McMahon, Nuggets guy, kind of. He's a Jokic appreciator, I would say. And the title is the under-the-radar concerns for each NBA contender. He outlines for Denver. Look at the depth they've added. Look at the shooting they've added. These things are incredible. But are they actually any better on defense? They were 21st last year in defensive rating. And is there any reason to believe that they are better? I think it's a very fair argument. For one, Russell Westbrook was a positive impact defensive player. He's gone. There's Bruce Brown maybe replaces him, but there isn't any added defensive player. So, D-Line, I actually look at this and I say, I think this is on Denver to prove, because I think of all the things on paper they accomplished, I don't think they made themselves better defensively on paper.
I mean, I do think they made themselves better defensively on paper. I think Cam Johnson is an upgrade over Michael Porter Jr. Agreed. I think Bruce Brown is a suitable replacement for Russell Westbrook.
Is he getting as good as Russ was defensively?
I think he was the difference maker from a defensive point of view. He not only checked D'Lo, he embarrassed him. He erased him. He took the morale away from the Lakers via D'Lo, and he absolutely was a difference maker. Peyton Watson should be a better defender. Tim,
especially if you compare him to himself. He's comparing comparing P. Watt this year to P. Watt last year.
Yes. That's a really real thing. THJ, you don't look at him as adding anything, probably actually a liability, but Big Val to me is a defensive upgrade over what they had in the middle previously. Like, he's just a big guy that can play traditional center, and he's younger than DeAndre Jordan. Like, to me, that's actually, there's quite a few reasons to look at them and say, okay, that could actually be an upgrade. Like, we don't know if Deron Holmes plays. He could be an upgrade at that spot. Like everyone except for THJ kind of, you can see adding a little bit more to the defensive side of the ball. And even though their defense ultimately faltered, it was kind of more their offense at the end of the games against the Thunder that faltered in my mind. It's like even just adding the offense actually adds defense in a strange way.
I think that's important.
So I just think like I'm not concerned. And also I watched Nikola Jokic play for Team Serbia a couple days ago. Nikola Jokic has a belly. Nikola Jokic has been enjoying his offseason. I love it for him. He's way bigger. If Jamal looked like this, he would be very justifiably crucified. But I watched Nikola Jokic really move his feet and really commit to the defensive side. He was fleet of foot, even though he's bigger and fatter. Like, it comes down to, like, do they want to? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Did you see him break up that 3-on-1 fast break?
Yes, dude.
2-on-1 fast break?
Dude, I saw him and I was like, oh my God, dude, Jokic is fat. Like, he's fat. And then he was like fast. I couldn't square it. He did get tired like a little bit. Like, he kind of wore out.
Got a little tired. Yeah.
But that's like why you play this tournament. He's going to get in shape.
That's why you do preseason. That's why you do preseason.
Yeah. So a couple things. I think it's a valid argument from Tim McMahon. But I also think it's really the only argument about a concern you can make. You know, I don't know what else you can say is a concern for the Nuggets other than injury. And that's a concern for pretty much every team, maybe other than the Thunder. But defenses, you look at the defensive team they were last year, very underwhelming, not good enough in the regular season. And I thought they were good enough in the playoffs, but regular season definitely counts. And yeah, it's not like they brought in anybody that's like, oh, he's an absolute all-world defender. Bruce Brown, very good defender. Not an all-NBA defender, not an all-defensive team type guy. Cam Johnson, I do think, is an upgrade over Michael Porter, a significant one on that end of the floor. I think Bruce Brown and Westbrook, it'll probably be somewhat of a wash. But I think D-line, at the end of what you were saying there, you hit the nail on the head. I just think they're going to care more this year. And that is the most important thing on defense. The care factor, because last year I just don't think it was there. It wasn't there. The front office coaching stuff bled over into the team. I think everybody felt that, and they just didn't have the spirit. They didn't have the want to on that end of the floor. I just think there's a renewed focus this year and just kind of a renewed energy, and it will specifically show up on defense.
I think that those parts, so there's all these variables. That last one you just mentioned, Win, to me is the biggest one. I mean, I've said it before, but it was why I was low on the Nuggets coming into last year. It wasn't about talent, although that played into it. It was, I just didn't know if the Nuggets were feeling it. I didn't know if the Nuggets were coming into the year ready to dive on the floor and work through 82 games to become their best selves. And that obviously played out. I mean, I haven't been around the guys. They've been gone, this or that. But I expect them to come back with that this year. I think they're going to be motivated. And that alone is like, okay, so now you go from 21st to 17th, 16th, 15th. And then you talk about, okay, where else can things go well? You are bringing in a new coaching staff. This could be good or bad, by the way. We talked about who's the defensive coordinator. It was Ryan Saunders. He's gone. So now is it Dudley? Is it Barea? Is it someone else? But is it a different scheme? The depth, I think, will help. Just fewer minutes. Part of why Jokic looks so good defensively in Eurobasket is he only plays 27 minutes.
Yep.
So if Jokic, instead of playing 37, 38, oh my God, tonight we need you 40. If he's just consistently in the 30 to 33 range, do we get a little bit more out of him, a little more out of Jamal? So I do expect the Nuggets to be a little bit better, but I also don't know if I would pick Denver to be a top 10 defense this year. I'm just not sure. I want to get through a preseason and see. I don't know. I think that's the one legitimate complaint is you could look at them and say, I don't know if that's a top 10 defense. And we know you need a top 10 defense to win a championship.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be willing to put them as a top 10 defense right now. Like, I'm pretty confident they'll be definitely better than they were last year, which again isn't saying much. They were 22nd, I think, last year in defense, which is just terrible. I mean, the teams down there in the bottom 10 pretty much aren't even trying to win games in the NBA. The Nuggets were in that group on defense. But yeah, I can't put them top 10 yet. I definitely have to see it first. I need to see that refreshed mindset.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. Let us know. Is that a legitimate concern? I will say they listed him number 2. I think they were just going off of straight odds, but they listed him number 2 in terms of championship odds behind Oklahoma City. I think a lot of people are high on Denver, even if they think they're going to suck on defense. This offense is going to be fun this year. That's exciting. Coming up, updated look at the team of the 20s, as well as an updated look on Jokic's stranglehold on player of the 20s. Is this already over, or is there somebody that could come in and try to steal it from him? We'll talk about that on the other side.
Shout out to American Financing. American Financing is here. If you're thinking about buying a home in Colorado, you're not the only one. Now might be your best shot. We're officially in a buyer's market, which means you've got the upper hand. More homes are on the market. Competition is down. Serious deals are out there just waiting to be found. So hit up American Financing, especially if you're a first-time buyer, if you're looking to upgrade maybe, or maybe you're looking to downsize. Now's the time to get pre-approved. American Financing can make that happen in 24 hours or less. Here's the kicker. When you work with American Financing and their partner, American Home Agents, you can save an additional 1% up to $10,000 on your home loan. So if you've been thinking about buying a home, if you're thinking about buying one for the first time or making a change, check out American Financing. They're the place to start. Don't let the 20% down myth stop you. You can buy a home with as little as 3% down. And with down payment assistance programs available, getting into a home might be easier than you think. 303-695-7000, 303-695-7000, AmericanFinancing.net, NMLS number 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Also, shout out to our friends over at Game Time. If you need tickets to concerts, shows, sporting events, Game Time's got you covered.
Dude, I used Game Time here. I went to the Diamondbacks, the Arizona Diamondbacks, their baseball game. Guess who they were playing?
The Rockies.
The Rockies. It sucked. I left early, but I bought my ticket on Game Time.
I think we're on a heater, though, right? I think we might be on a heater.
I think we've lost 8 in a row, the Rockies.
They got
we're not on a
doors
heater.
blown off.
Yeah. Game Time app, it's the best place to buy tickets. Their app on the phone is great as well. You feel really comfortable buying tickets there. Seat views, last minute tickets, zone deals, easy to find and buy tickets to every single sport. The fees are included in the Game Time app. Lowest price guaranteed. Check out the Game Time. It is the place to buy tickets. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR. Use the code DNVR. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. You can buy a Rockies ticket for not a lot of money, get $20 off it. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR, $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
All right. We're back here, segment 3. And let's now talk about the 2020s, because I just love looking at this by decade. I mean, we all know, if we said the player of the 80s, you would say Magic and Bird. It was shared between Magic and Bird. They were the players of the 80s. If you said player of the 90s, it's Michael Jordan. There's no question about it. We know it. If you said the player of the 2000s, there might be a little bit of a debate there. I think Kobe might probably was Kobe Bryant, but you could argue maybe a little LeBron, Tim Duncan, maybe, I don't know. 2010s, I would say LeBron and Steph. A little bit Steph came in late, but LeBron. The 2020s to me are so clearly Nikola Jokic right now. 3 MVPs and a championship. And we're halfway through the decade, now going into the back half of the decade. I think that he almost has this locked up. And I almost wonder what it would take for someone to get it, because he's not going to be bad over the next 5 years. He's almost certainly not. He's going to be MVP quality over the next 3. So I think that Jokic will be almost unanimously considered the player of the 2020s.
Probably.
Well, he's certainly on track. The only thing is that, like, if somehow the Thunder pull off an actual dynasty, he could be erased from it.
I mean, could he?
Like,
though?
if the Thunder win the next 3 or 4 and Shea is leading that, then he would probably supplant Jokic. Like, Jokic probably needs to make sure that does not become a a Warriors like dynasty where it's just that, or the Bulls or whatever, like where you don't, that the team success is such that you cannot look away from them being the epicenter. And we're not, we are to the point where they could win the entire second half of the decade, and that would count.
Yeah, but the the Spurs won 3 in the 2000s, but they're like, we
For
do
sure.
not say Tim Duncan necessarily. Although maybe we should, and this is more the other way. Like Tim Duncan should be the player of the 2000s, but he's just not thought of because he wasn't that popular.
Yeah,
it's entirely possible.
This is kind of also one of those things where you just have to take a step back for a second and really dive into what Nikola Jokic has done since 2000. I mean, the 3 MVPs in 4 years and then the championship, but then just the numbers too. Just the numbers. Yeah. And nobody's done this since Wilt Chamberlain. Nobody's done this since ever. Like, how many of those games and moments and seasons has he had? It's tough to see even somebody like SGA getting to that level individually, even if he's captaining a team that wins a couple more championships over the rest of this decade. It feels nearly impossible for somebody to stack 4 seasons that come anywhere close to what Nikola Jokic just did,
But you could
see
it.
The
For
only
example,
way it would
hold on. Well, there is one player, Eric, that I think has numbers that are similar to that, and it's Luka Doncic. And he does play for the Lakers now. I think that he's a bit of a long shot, but if he has success with the Lakers and then puts up these numbers for the next 4 or 5 years, he's another guy to me that could come in and take it. I mean, he's
got to do it starting this year and then have a clean sweep through 2030, though, because he hasn't done anything so far. He doesn't have any MVPs. He's made 1 finals.
Yeah,
he would have to get championships, multiple championships in this time, in this window. That's what I mean. Like, to
MVPs.
me, the only person that could do it, I believe, at this stage would be Shea, and not because he's a better player by any stretch of the imagination, but if the team success is such that you have to look at that. I mean, I don't think that will happen, but that's how that would happen. That's the only way that can happen.
The only other guy I thought of that maybe could have a case is Giannis, although he did win one of his MVPs before 2020.
That's true.
So that kind of screws up that. But he does have a championship banked in this decade. He does have an MVP banked in this decade. Now it's tough to see the Bucks really being competitive right now, but he at least has a couple of things that he's already done and accomplished.
And I think for him, if he ends up going to a Lakers or a Warriors or something like that and gets the second bounce basically to his career, which is why I'm putting Luka in this conversation. Shea, I get it. I just don't know if like this year, it was so clear. Nobody said Shea was better than Jokic. And that's why I just wonder, like, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, even if the team wins, if he's just thought of as.
But if they win 3 or 4, it's like, then he's like, I know, but he becomes the representation. I'm just saying, like, that's how that would happen. He's not a better player, but like, that's how that would happen. It's the only way.
Well, the team of the decade, I still think Jokic is likely just because the numbers are so great. I think he's going to be up there. Another MVP, very possible. For me, though, team of the decade is the fun one because nobody has repeated yet. Famously, this might be the first decade nobody ever repeats, but it is up for grabs. And last year it was Boston slightly pulled ahead of Denver because it looked like maybe they had staying power. They're in the East. Oklahoma City, though, winning now. If we had to handicap this, they're probably best odds of team of the decade at this very moment.
Yeah, I mean, a different team's won the championship every season. And so, yeah, I mean, Oklahoma City probably has the best chance of
a second one in the next 4 seasons.
A second one. And then Denver, clearly.
Or Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, Boston, there you have to take a year off. But
Boston feels like they've been. Well, first off, they're not going to have next year's going to be a disaster for Boston. Yeah. We don't know like when they're going to be back in contention. It feels like their theorem got busted. So I don't really see another path for them back to be that.
They even axed their governor today. I don't know if you saw
Wick Grossbeck. Yeah.
What? Really?
Got the axe.
So yeah, I have a hard time imagining Boston gets back to that place where we're looking at them as like the prevalent force in the NBA. But it is funny, like I guarantee every person, every prognosticator that you encounter, talking about the season going in, will predict somehow magically that the Oklahoma City Thunder will be in the finals this year. That's what, like everybody, the year that the team wins,
It's
this
so
immediately pencils them right back into the finals every single time. It doesn't happen hardly ever, but we'll see. But I don't know, man. Like I like Denver's chances. If Denver wins again, I mean, that's just it. It's like whoever gets 2 is in pole position to be the
it might only
really
take 2.
Yeah. It's really the race to 2. The race to 2, yeah.
And then maybe somebody else catches them. I think that if you were handicapping this, you'd put OKC at like -110. You'd probably put Denver at +300, Boston at +400. And then I think I would put the Lakers right there as well, only because they have they're so far away from contention. You don't really see it, but they do have Luka. And so maybe
what if this whole time we did never – what if this whole time we never realized we were in the Knicks era? This whole time it was the whole Denver was winning, but really the Knicks win the whole last half, and we thought we were doing.
I mean,
the other Clippers.
You gotta at least think about the Warriors a little bit. They have a championship.
God, if they have 2 decades,
But
no, they're good.
If they luck into what if they luck into Giannis?
I mean, Steph that so changes
that.
Already,
that would change everything.
What if they look into Giannis next summer?
I mean,
Steph has a couple more years being.
Maybe he might honestly. Steph Curry to me is like at any moment he could have the injury. He's what 37.
He's not going to make it through the season. No chance.
No chance.
There's no chance.
What about the Spurs? Is there any chance the Spurs build a contender? I mean, we don't see it this year, but maybe as early as next year, and then they get 3 shots.
They have to get a big impact player. If they get Giannis, then yes.
But
they need an impact guy.
Am I a little crazy for thinking the Spurs might be messing this whole Wemby thing up?
No.
What do you mean?
Yes.
Why'd they sign De'Aaron Fox to a max contract?
Oh, I know.
Because they maybe promised it or said they were going to when they traded for him. Why are they? Why they just drafted a number 2 overall pick who, is pretty good, but he's gonna have to play a lot and probably not gonna be that good the next couple of years. What are they doing?
The NBA really is hilarious in that you kind of have to sign 2 guys to a max. You can get away with only 1 guy and then spending a lot of money elsewhere, but it's almost just the nature of how contracts work in free agency and when guys are available. You almost always have to give a max to that second guy, and half the time they're not worth it. De'Aaron Fox is just, if you have to give, and I saw somebody had done this on the timeline the other day where they were taking out De'Aaron Fox is the 60th best player. If you did this the equivalent in football, it would be insane. And it is true. It's it is weird that you just it's not a controversy that De'Aaron Fox got a max, but we also all know that screws you.
Yeah.
I do love that. There's nothing better too, because then now the way that most people evaluate players through the lens of their contract is going to hit De'Aaron Fox so hard. He's going to get the Jamal Murray and the MPJ treatment, where even if they play reasonably well, they'll be like, well, that's not a $30 million player.
Right. By the way,
doesn't matter,
this is coming for Christian Brown, I think, in a very interesting way, because he
is
beloved.
Totally is.
And the moment he signs a deal where it's $25 million and he can't do whatever, and you're like,
that's not a $25 million player.
And then all of a sudden the shine is off. It's so weird how that works.
Yeah.
All right, we've been doing this series, and I'm going to return to it now to get us out of today's show. But we're looking back and just trying to relive old glories. And we are up to the 2018 season, 2017-18. And this one, so I've been researching these, getting ready for this and kind of going back. Let me refresh your memories here a little bit. This was the Tyler Lydon draft year.
Oh my God.
So this year started weird. The Nuggets were on this 2-year ascent in the Jokic era. This was year 3, and this was the first wrench in the system. Because that night you were like, what? Tyler Lydon?
So this draft, this draft was an all-time mess up from the Nuggets.
all time.
They originally held the. Wait, are you 2017?
It's 2018 is the year, so 17 into 18.
The 2017 draft we're talking about, though.
Were they
Yeah.
in name drafted Donovan Mitchell?
They originally had the 13th pick.
Yeah, traded it.
Yes.
Traded back to number 24.
And OG
and
went
drafted
at
Tyler
22 or
Lydon.
23, yeah.
God damn.
OG Anunoby went 23.
We were sure
That
we were
was the
getting
guy
OG
they wanted.
Anunoby. Sure of it.
I know.
Yes, we were sure of it. And then he was stolen one pick ahead of us by Masai Ujiri, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Do you remember covering that draft, Adam?
Of course, because it's the night that Tim Conley and Arturis came out separately, and it's because they were so pissed. It was
originally
so awkward.
originally there was a table with 2 microphones, and then right before the press conference, somebody from the PR team came out and removed one of the microphones.
They came out separately. They each did their own press conference that year.
Yep.
It was very, very bizarre. You knew it was a mess up at the time. They also, though, this is D-Line's point, they did get Torrey Craig and Monte Morris that year. So it's like, it's one of those things where if you drafted Monte at 24 and Tyler Lydon at 51, it would be like, oh, okay, that's a good draft. They did a good job.
Right.
But
the issue with that draft was that was where Tim Connolly got like super duper cute because he'd had success with trading back, turning in 1 pick into 2. Obviously, we got Nurkic and Gary Harris in that way, and he was lauded appropriately as a genius for doing so. Then they got Nikola Jokic late, so he was like, "Bro, that's all I'm doing now." And that was his favorite move, was having a high pick that he traded back for 2 pretty good picks.
Yeah.
But like I remember the world, everyone knew we were going to take
OG Anunoby.
OG Anunoby. Everybody knew it. Everyone knew it. And
because if you remember, they kept taking guys that were hurt or out a year, and OG had tore his ACL. And it's like, perfect. The Michael Porter. We're drafting a guy who's going to have to sit out a year, and then he's ready the next year.
Yeah. And then they took that, and like I felt the terror and the scramble from my home when OG got drafted. It was like, oh God, no, what are they going to do? And then like, do you have any idea, like any inclination who the rest of the room wanted to draft that Leroy Jenkins on and drafted Tyler Lydon? Like, do we have any understanding?
Let me see if I can recall in that draft who was the popular guy. Kuzma was there, but I don't think. Oh, probably Derek White, to be honest with you, Colorado guy. So
God damn it!
Probably
that's even worse.
So it was probably him. I don't know if there was anybody.
And then
else
that draft set off an avalanche of arguments online for the next 5 years about whether or not we should have Donovan Mitchell over Jamal Murray, and if we had Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell, that one wouldn't be able to be, brought up, and they would have wasted. Blah blah blah. What a nightmare.
Do you remember on that team that year, Richard Jefferson, his lone year here, he hated it. He thought it was very boring. He came over to be the wily vet, and he thought the team was like just too boring for his taste. And then also Devin Harris was traded at the deadline. The Nuggets were like, let's get a veteran presence in here.
They didn't get a veteran presence. They traded Emmanuel Mudiay for 1/2 season of Devin Harris because Mudiay was so helpless at that point that they just got rid of him for absolutely nothing. Devin Harris didn't even re-sign with the Nuggets. They literally traded Mudiay for a rental of a 1/2 season for Devin Harris, who was not even good with the Nuggets. He just kind of showed up. We didn't really know what his vibe was. It didn't work out at all. It was a total disaster of mismanagement for the season. I remember all of it very deep, very clearly. It was a nightmare.
Pour one out for Mudiay. Made it 2.5 seasons. He was our cornerstone rebuilding block, and he made it 2.5 seasons before he got traded for Devin Harris. Also joining that year, though, and this is where the Nuggets, this is such a chapter. This is when Paul Millsap arrived. It was year 3. It was 2017-18. And that was like, that signaled a new era. Danilo Gallinari was gone. He was the old guy. And so the new guy was in. The number one thing I remember, though, before we get to him was Kenneth Faried's media day availability. He did not show up for media day on time. He came out an hour late. He sat down, and I went and watched this because this was up on the Denver Stiffs YouTube channel. I found it, and I went and watched it this morning as I was prepping for this. He comes out, and first of all, somebody said, "You're the longest tenured Nugget. How does it feel?" And he goes, "It's an honor, I guess." And then he was asked about something like, what's it like? You bring in a player like Paul Millsap, and he's like, "Listen, I am not a bench player in this league." He said, "I am not a bench player. I like it when they call your name at the intro, Kenneth Faried, and everybody screams." That's what he said.
Oh my God.
It obviously didn't.
I
land
appreciate
well.
that.
I kind of appreciate the honesty, but it was like the ultimate lack of self-realization because Manimal got traded that year. This was his 6th season. It was his 7th, so he had 6 seasons in him. He should be in his prime. How many games did he play in his career after getting traded, Eric? Take a guess.
Oh, but let's see. He went to Houston, right? He was deeply undersized. He sat the bench. I'll bet he played like games he got into or games he started.
Games he played at any point. He was 28 years old at this time.
Yeah, I bet he played.
Or actually,
like
he was 27.
6 games.
Huh?
Like 7 games.
37 games. 37
That's
total
crazy.
games. And this is the height of his prime. So he awkwardly almost demanded a trade, and he was gone. Paul Millsap was in. Here's something you don't remember, Wind. Jokic had 7 points through 2 games to open the year. He had 7 on opening night, 0 in the second game. He played 30 minutes in both games.
I remember this.
Assist makes 2 people happy, man.
No. This was Nikola Jokic did not know how to bring Paul Millsap onto the team. And because he was a veteran, he just deferred to him so heavily that became a talking point, was that Nikola Jokic had to learn to not just simply defer to Paul Millsap all the time because we didn't even know what to do. It didn't make the team better. It was confusing. And Jokic himself came out and he was like, I don't know how to be. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
But if you remember, I mean, maybe I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I'm not sure exactly when it was in the season, but one of the big turning points of that year was when Paul Millsap had a conversation with Nikola Jokic and said, "This is your team. Stop worrying about me. You're our franchise. This is your team. Let's effing go." So
this Jokic had 4 games in single figures in the first 10. He actually, this year was very clunky. People don't remember it very well. It was kind of a bad year because you had Jokic's rookie year. Then you had the sophomore year, December 15th. They're on a run. This was the year you're like, they can make the playoffs this year. They can be good. And it started really bad. They made the trade for Paul Millsap, and it started really bad. And it was like, damn it, another year where they're not going anywhere. And this was the first year Jokic led the team in points, 18.5. Gary Harris was 17.5. And it was the first year that he led the team in assists. The prior year, it was Jameer Nelson. So this was the first time he led in both points and assists. And so I disagree with the read that he didn't know how to integrate Paul Millsap. To me, Jokic's arc was that the year before they determined he was the guy to play through, everything was new, there was no pressure. This was the year where it's like, it's your team, and he did not accept it. He did not pick up the crown. And it wasn't just because of Paul Millsap. I think it was because Jokic was like, no. I know I'm good, but I'm not the leader of this team. And it's like, you are, whether you want to.
He didn't know he was that guy yet. Like he did not know he was going to become anything close to, the player he is. Nobody did, but especially him. He did not know it. I don't even know if he really wanted it. But
this was the first year he pushed back. I don't want it.
That's the point is that he didn't know how to be because there was a guy he could just be like, well, he's the leader. He's the vet.
4-time
All-Star. An all-star. Yeah. It was very awkward. It was very strange to start out. I just remember that exactly. Paul Millsap said, he's like, I told him to take over. This is your team, man. Take over.
It took all the way until January 8th for him to have his first triple-double of the year. Remember we talked about on the 2017 when he had all of those triple-doubles to end the year. Clearly he could do it. He didn't have one for the first 3 months of the season this year. Very strange. Then he ended up having a bunch. because it was like he woke up finally and realized what he was. Then he had the fastest triple-double of all time on January 8th.
Yep.
And then here's what people don't really remember. The Nuggets were actually struggling. They were out of the playoffs with seven games to go. They won 6 games in a row leading up to game 82. This wasn't like, they happened to be there. Denver was dead in the water, like 2.5 games back, 3 games back, and they won 6 in a row, and Jokic went crazy in that stretch. It was his best stretch of the whole year. Jokic just turned it on. They won all the way, setting up the famous game 82 at Minnesota. Jimmy Butler is on the team.
God damn it.
Jokic had what might have been the best game of his career that night. Up to that point, was awesome, but it wasn't enough as they came up short in overtime.
Yeah,
freaking
man,
Jimmy
I'll never
Buckets.
forget that game. I was there in Minnesota for that game. It was an all-timer.
I know Jimmy Butler went crazy. He went absolutely crazy. And then they went on, they didn't do anything in the playoffs. And then Jimmy Butler outwardly like tore down the idea of Karl Anthony Towns' manhood, like immediately afterwards, like just absolutely defamed him publicly, like made an absolute mockery of him and tore that team apart immediately afterwards. Good stuff.
But I don't think people that came to the Nuggets later, and I think a lot of the fan base, arrived after this, like around 2020, maybe the bubble. People don't remember that Jokic's rookie season, no expectations. The next year, they could have made the playoffs. It was Nurkic that knocked them out in Portland. And then so this year felt like the year that they were going to get there, and it didn't happen again. So at this point, this was a bit of a low point because we were having fun and we were like, Jokic is the truth. But then he did this weird emotional funk thing all year where he didn't accept being the guy. And we're like, he is good. He just doesn't care, guys. And it's like, that was a hard argument to make. And then he finally takes up the mantle and does it, and he makes this run, and they miss the playoffs again. And it felt like, the Kislas of the world and the Marilats, the guys that just love when your team's down so they can pick at you. That was the Nuggets fans keep saying that this guy's special, but here we are not making the playoffs again. And we had to sit in it for a whole offseason of like, nobody gets it.
Yeah. But, I mean, that was definitely the story of that season, but people, that have just started following this team in the last couple of years definitely don't remember the impact that Paul Millsap had here. Yeah. Because Paul Millsap kind of, I think, taught Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets how to win a little bit. They were just, the Nuggets before Paul Millsap got here, you could see the potential, you could see the vision, but they were this young, fun team, a bunch of kids just playing. They were just playing out there. And Paul Millsap really came here, and they never played defense before Paul Millsap got here. Yeah. And, I mean, I don't know if you remember the first year Paul Millsap was here, he hurt his wrist and actually I don't even think played in half the games that regular season. But then the next season, and of course we'll get to this when we do the next year, the next season, they came back and had a top 10 defense. So, like, Paul Millsap, I really feel like taught a lot of the core of that team, the Jokic's, the Gary Harris's, the Will Bartons, how to win and what you needed to do on both ends of the floor to win. And, I mean, he was just really instrumental, I think, in those early Jokic years, like teaching just some foundational lessons of basketball to these guys.
100%, man.
And they stumbled. They didn't make it to the playoffs. But the following year, where they did make it to the playoffs, they went further than they should have. So it ended up not actually being a skipped step. It was like, you just think about that game 82 was their flame out in the playoffs in a sense. And then the next year they make it to the second round, and it's just you're right back on track. Oh man,
this year. Real quick, this year was also the Jamal Gary intersection year. This is where Jamal started to catch and pass. I mean, it might have been Gary Harris's best year, but Murray was sort of on the ascent. Murray had 7 30-point games. Barton was actually pretty phenomenal this season as well. He was right there. He actually had, I think, the second highest box plus minus. And then I'll always remember the game against Boston. I don't know if you guys remember this one. Boston was really good. Denver was not. Gary Harris, 36. Jamal Murray, 28. They both were awesome. Denver actually lost. But it was the first time they were like good together, and you're like, you know what, though, man? Jokic, Gary, Jamal, that's a big three.
Yeah, I mean, that was I think the year Gary Harris really just leveled up, and if it wasn't for injuries, like who knows what his career could have really been.
Yeah, it was a special one, man. 2018, I liked it. Although I will say, 2017 was my favorite. 2018 was the one where we were a little frustrated with emotional funk yoke, but he came around eventually. Any super chats? It doesn't look like it. I don't think there's a single super chat today. What the hell, people? Is this the first time we've ever not had a super chat?
No, we had one on an earlier off-season show, and I was a little spooked by it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll just see everybody tomorrow.
Man, what an ending.
Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you.
We all silly like the mayor.